ganache cake has now been set aside for 24 hours. It's a hard, crusty shell. It's not soft chocolate anymore. It's like almost like an Easter egg hard shell. Now, take a piece of fondant and knead it until it's soft and warm and pliable. And if you think it's kneaded and it's ready, knead it some more. If it's not kneaded properly, that's when you start getting your elephant skin and your cracks around your edges. Now some people use corn flour, some use icing sugar. When they roll it out, I just use a canola oil spray on my bench. If you find that you get any air bubbles while you're rolling, you can use a normal pin. I use a diabetes pin and just prick the air hole and roll again. Now, just lift up your fondant, make sure it hasn't stuck, and give your bench another spray. Always make sure that when you're finished with your pins, always make sure that you put them well out of the way so you don't accidentally roll them into your cake. Okay. Now I always sugar syrup my cake quickly after I have rolled my fondant out, because I don't want the sugar syrup drying out, because where there's dry spots on the ganache, that's where your fondant won't stick. Now I'll take a can and a non-stick mat and I elevate my cake. And I'll chuck another non-stick mat under the can. Now roll your fondant over your rolling pin. Pick it up and drape it over your cake. Now this is when I use my corn flour. Quickly press on the top, making sure that there's no air bubbles. Lift the skirt back out if you start to see any air bubbles. And press it in. Okay, now press in at the edges, at the top, because we want to do that quickly and stop it from cracking. Okay. Now fan your skirt out. You've probably seen 1,000 people do this. Don't push down, just gently ease it down. If you push down, you're going to start tearing your cake, your fondant. Okay. Just give it a rub all over, make sure it's stuck on. Now grab a sharp, clean knife and trim on your board. If you have any leftover fondant, put it back in your bag because you don't want it drying out. Now this is where I get my sharp edges. Now put your cake on another non-slip mat. Okay. Now it's still going to bounce around a bit. Lightly dust both your fondant smoothers, and one goes in an up and down motion while the other one is pushing in. Now make sure this one stays up, don't push it in because you're going to end up obviously with your cake now going like this, so keep it up and down upright, and the other one pushing in. You just keep working, keep pushing this one in, and you'll be surprised how quickly you're going to see sharp edges. Just work your way around the cake. See the difference already. See that sharp here, and it's still very round around here. And just keep going and keep working at it. If you find it does sticking, just give them a light dust again. You'll find you'll get quicker at it, and you'll find it a lot easier the more times you do it. Okay. Just keep working your way around the cake until it's all razor sharp. Okay, so you can see I'm getting close to finishing, and you can see there's a visible difference to where I have been and where I haven't been, and it's taken me all of probably 15 minutes tops. Like I said, the more you do it, the quicker you're going to get, and the more comfortable you're going to be doing it. Birthday cakes for your family is a great cake to practice on. Generally, if I'm making a cake for any of my family, they're my guinea pigs. That's when I start different techniques. I always make a practice of trying something that I've never done before on a family cake. And I just kind of just like roll it around as I'm going. You can see it's quite obvious where you've been and where you haven't been. If you haven't got it quite even sharp, it'll actually look like your cake is not perfectly round anymore, and that's when I know that it's probably sharp in one area like here, but not in the other area, because it's not looking quite round anymore. So I'll just go back and work that little area again. Okay, it's looking pretty good now. Now just take one of your smoothers and just carefully, I kind of put my hand underneath the cake, so I'm holding the cake as well, so I'm not going to push it off the can, and just go around and give it another nice smooth all the way around. And that's how I get my super sharp edges. Now make sure you've cleaned your knife. If you're going to use the same knife, clean it again, because you don't want any dry bits of fondant on your knife, because then it's going to start ripping and tearing. So then basically what I do is take my sharp clean knife and run it back under the board to trim off any of the fondant again. And use my smoother again, just to push away any of the knife cuts. And you now have super sharp edges, and if you don't want to, you don't have to use a ribbon. That's why we've elevated it up.